Welcome back to NTV News First Edition. We may not want to think about it, but there are just 20 days left before the start of the new school year on September 7th. With the great weather we've been having, it certainly won't be easy shaking this summer off ourselves and settling into the school routine. But there are tips on how to make that transition at least a little bit easier. And for that, we are joined by Dr. Janine Hubbard with this week's edition of Get Psyched with Dr. Janine. It's great to see you again.
As always. Don't hate me, people. I know this is not a topic anybody wants to talk about right now. It's the same as seeing the Christmas decorations in the store. Everybody's like, too early. But
yes.
Here's the thing. We still have just under 3 weeks before going back to school, which means there's some things we can put off. But right now, this week, if I can get people starting to think about their sleep routines, that gives us enough time to gradually shift back to the kind of schedule that we're going to need in a couple weeks' time without it being such an abrupt and rude awakening. Because we know that for all of us, our sleep schedules go a little off track over the summer, but we know that that is particularly the case for a lot of our teenagers.
Well, yes, just my own experience. I don't like to normally share that, but my daughter's starting a whole new school. She's going to junior high school. Mm-hmm. They start school an hour earlier than she has, the last 6 years. So that's going to be pretty tough getting up, getting used to going to school a whole hour earlier than you've done since, for the last 6, 7 years.
For sure, and we'll talk about the stress on parents another in a future week. But the thing is, what you can do today is, first of all, start to set a morning alarm, especially if that's not something that you've been needing to do, because it's, well, we wake up whenever. Mm-hmm. And set it roughly for around the time that you've been naturally waking up. So do that for about 3 days, and then shift it back by 15 minutes. Do that for another 2-3 days, and then again a shift of another 15 minutes. We've got 20 days, which gives you time, if you've been off by an hour or two, to kind of do that really gradual shift. And it's amazing because your body doesn't notice it. Trying to go to bed 3 hours earlier than you're used to doing, that's not going to work for you. We actually find less focus on the when you're going to bed and more on the when you actually have to get up and stay up, and no daytime napping makes a big difference. The other thing that I'd be recommending around that sleep routine, again, don't shoot me, starting to limit the electronics before bedtime. Generally speaking, we recommend an hour before bedtime to wind down and be doing some things without that blue light, without that stimulation. So again, time to start setting at least a few of these limits now. It's going to make the next couple of weeks, and it's certainly going to make that Labor Day week a whole lot less stressful on everybody.
It is less than 3 weeks before school starts. So much we all wanted to do this summer, especially with the great weather. So there's stuff that we probably haven't done yet that we really want to do. So should we try to cram everything else in these last 20 days? Well,
because we know things are very weather dependent, I really like to ask each member of the family, what is the one thing that you would be really disappointed if you didn't get a chance to do this summer, and really prioritize that as much as it's practical between now and Labor Day. And then also start planning some fun activities for the fall. We don't have to get it all done before that first day of school, but really making sure that way, if there's something that's really important that maybe got canceled, a lot of bonfires on the beach that is a summer tradition for many of us weren't able to happen because of the fire ban. If you're in a place where that's now safe to do, and that's the important value, make sure you get a chance to do it.
So we are nearly out of time, but I do want to let viewers know that we're going to be continuing our focus on preparing for back to school next week. So I know you already have a topic in mind. What is it?
Well, next week we're going to talk about all of the anxiety and the stress that goes into going back to school. And then I'm hoping the following week we're going to talk about the fact that back to school is hard on grown-ups too. So hopefully some interesting and useful tips for the next couple of weeks.
All right, Dr. Janine Hubbard, thank you so much for this. Thank you for helping me.
Thanks, Tony.